Ely Cathedral and the Anglo-Saxons. In 673, a monastery for men and women, monks and nuns, was founded by Anglo-Saxon Queen Etheldreda. She died of bubonic plague around 680 with swellings on her neck that at the time people blamed on her wearing necklaces when she was a young girl. The monastery continued to flourish until the Vikings arrived in 870 and raided the monastery. They looted many treasures and the monastery was left in ruins. Today there is a chapel in the cathedral dedicated to Saint Edmund, King of East Anglia, around 850 to 870 AD. He was loved for his care of the poor and fairness. He was killed by Viking raiders when he refused to give up his Christian faith. The story is that they tied him to a tree and shot him with arrows. He was buried in Bedrixworth in Suffolk, which was then renamed Bury St Edmunds. In 970, Ely became a Benedictine monastery for monks only. The nuns had to leave, under the rule of St Benedict. Monasteries like this were set up in France and Italy too, and had very strict rules about living a holy life. Ely Cathedral in medieval times. After the Battle of Hastings in 1066, William the Conqueror had to fight rebels in England to keep his throne. Hereward the Wake defended the fens in East Anglia from the Normans, and eventually he was trapped in the Isle of Ely, where he had to defend the monks. The abbey at Ely and Hereward had to surrender to William the Conqueror in 1071, and there is still a memorial to Hereward the Wake inside the abbey today. In 1083, the building of the present cathedral started with the south-eastern transept. The Normans built castles and cathedrals in England to show their power, religion, and control the local populations. You can see the Norman parts of Ely Cathedral by looking at the architecture. The Normans built pointed archways. Can you spot any in the picture below of the inside of the cathedral? In 1109, William II established the diocese or church area of Ely. A diocese is an area of the country controlled by a bishop. This helped William II and the bishops keep control over the people. In 1322, the tower collapsed into the cathedral and the monks thought there had been an earthquake. It made such a loud noise and shook the ground. The octagon tower was eventually built to replace it with firmer foundations. To build it, the medieval stonemasons and builders had to take huge risks. They used wooden scaffolding and ropes. Today, the octagon tower looks like this. The windows right at the top are called the lantern, as they let the light filter down into the cathedral. Ely Cathedral in Tudor England. In 1541, after his divorce from Catherine of Aragon and the new Church of England being established, the abbey at Ely was dissolved by Henry VIII. Some buildings and the main cathedral were saved as part of Henry's new Church of England, but statues, stained glass windows and Etheldreda's shrine were destroyed. Henry's officials had some buildings sold, but others were destroyed. You can see that Ely Cathedral stood through the entire time of your Year 7 history course and involved some of the interesting people we have learned about.